He was faster, stronger, more skilled, worked twice as many hours, and he lost everything to a man who barely touched a hammer. In a mountain town where iron was valuable and blacksmiths were respected, two men opened competing forges on the same street. Abbas and Ismail, both trained under the same master. Both understood metalwork. Both wanted to build successful businesses. Abbas believed in craftsmanship. Every sword, every tool, every horseshoe, he made them all by hand. His reasoning was simple. Quality comes from the craftsman. A tool is only as good as the person who made it. Customers would pay more for work done by a master. He opened his forge at sunrise, lit the fire, heated the metal, hammered, shaped, cooled, inspected, repeated. Each piece took him hours, sometimes a full day. But when he finished, the work was perfect. Flawless edges, balanced weight, built to last. People admired his dedication. They watched him work through the small window of his shop, sweat dripping, muscles straining, hammer striking metal in steady rhythm. He looked like what a blacksmith should look like. He felt proud of that. Ismail took a different approach, spent the first 3 months barely making anything. Customers would come asking for tools and he would turn them away. People thought he was lazy, some assumed he did not know what he was doing. But Ismail was not resting. He was building something else. He constructed a water-powered trip hammer, a large mechanical arm driven by the river that ran behind his property. The hammer could strike metal faster and harder than any human. It worked for hours without tiring. He built molds and templates, standard sizes for common tools. Instead of crafting each piece from scratch, he could pour hot metal into forms and produce consistent results. He designed a better bellows system that kept his forge at the right temperature without constant adjustment. Month 4, Ismail started producing. But he was not the one hammering. The trip hammer did that. He was not the one monitoring the fire. The bellows system handled it. Ismail spent his time loading molds, checking quality, adjusting the process. Where Abbas made 3 tools a day, Ismail's system made 20. Abbas saw this and felt disgusted. It was not real craftsmanship. It was mass production. Soulless, mechanical. Anyone could pour metal into a mold. It took no skill, no artistry. He kept working by hand, kept making pieces one at a time, kept taking pride in his personal touch. Year 1, Abbas had built a reputation for quality. His tools lasted longer than most. Customers who wanted the best came to him. He charged 15 silver coins for a farming tool, made about 4 per week, 60 silver coins weekly. Good money. Ismail charged 8 silver coins for the same tool, half the price. But he made 20 per week, 160 silver coins weekly, nearly 3 times what Abbas earned. Abbas told himself it was fine. Quality over quantity. His customers appreciated the difference. They understood value. Year 2, something shifted. His farmers started calculating. An ABA's tool lasted 10 years, cost 15 silver. An Ismail tool lasted 7 years, cost 8 silver. The math favored Ismail. Even if you had to replace it sooner, you still spent less over time. More customers went to Ismail. The boss tried to compete by working longer hours. He started his forge earlier, closed it later, pushed himself to make 5 tools a day instead of 4. But there was a ceiling. His hands could only move so fast. His body could only work so many hours. At some point, skill reached its limit against volume. Ismail hired 2 workers, taught them to run the system he built. Now he had 3 production lines. Output jumped to 50 tools per week. He dropped his price to 6 silver coins. Still made 300 silver weekly. Abbas was working 14-hour days and barely keeping up with demand. His hands hurt. His back ached. He could not hire help because his process required his personal skill. No one else could match his quality. If he hired someone, he would have to lower his standards. Year 3. Ismail expanded. He bought the empty building next to his forge, installed 2 more trip hammers, hired 5 more workers. His operation now produced tools for 3 neighboring towns. Abbas was still alone in his shop, still hammering by hand, still refusing to compromise on his craft, still telling himself that real quality mattered more than cheap speed. Year 5, Abbas got an injury, pulled a muscle in his shoulder, could not work for 2 weeks. No work meant no income. He had some savings, but 2 weeks without production hurt. When he came back, customers had moved on. They needed tools and could not wait. They went to Ismail. Most of them never came back. Ismail barely noticed. His business was not dependent on him personally anymore. If he took 2 weeks off, the system kept running. Workers kept producing. Money kept coming in. By year 7, Ismail employed 20 people. He had stopped touching hammers altogether. He spent his time managing relationships with suppliers, negotiating bulk orders of raw iron, opening new distribution channels. His business made more in a month than a boss made in a year. Abbas was still in his original shop, still working by hand, still proud of his craftsmanship, but his income had dropped. Fewer customers. Higher costs for materials because he bought in small quantities. No time to rest because rest meant no money. The town respected Abbas. They called him a true craftsman, master of his trade. Respect does not pay for food or keep a roof over your head. Ismail had built something that worked without him. Abbas had built a job that owned him. So the lesson is not that quality does not matter. Quality does matter. But personal craftsmanship has a ceiling. You can only work so many hours. You can only make so many things with your own hands. Your skill might be 10 times better than someone else. But if they can produce 20 times the volume, they win. Business is not about who works hardest. It is about who builds systems that multiply output without multiplying effort. Most people are Abbas right now. They believe their value comes from their personal involvement. They think if they are not touching every piece, the quality drops. So they stay in the middle of everything, bottlenecking their own growth. The people who scale are the ones who step back and ask a different question. How can this work without me? What parts can be standardized? What can be automated? Who can be trained to handle the pieces that do not require my unique skill? Check your business or your work right now. How much of it requires you personally? If you took a month off, would anything still run? If the answer is no, you do not have a business. You have a job you own. Pick one task this week. It's the most repetitive thing you do. Build a system for it. A checklist someone else can follow, a template, a process, something that removes you from that step. Month 1 feels like you were losing control. Month 3, you see the time coming back. Month 6, someone else is handling it better than you did. Year 2, you have built 5 systems, and your output is triple what it was. A boss hammered metal for his entire career. Ismail built machines that hammered for him. Same skill, same training. Different understanding of what a business actually is. Systems beat skill, every time. More wealth principles coming.